Right, so I found an error by when we created this one. So if you go to, you don't have to just look here, you have the same error probably. So I'm back in the admin page. I'm just going to create a new product and expand it up here. And you can see the created by is undefined. We have the ID for the product, that's great, but for the user who created it is undefined because I made a mistake. So if you go to your auth page and you log out and you do a login, or you just look at my screen, that's of course the same. Here I'll get the object for the user. And if I expand this 2 times, you can see token and user ID. So they are here and the system is actually accessing it. But if you look here, it says user, capital I, lowercase d. Back in my code where I have my login functionality here, so I grab all the things, I log in and so on, I wrote user ID with a capital D here. So it has to be lowercase, otherwise it won't grab it. So this will continue to stay undefined because it doesn't exist. So I made a spelling error there. I'm going to save this. I'm going to log out again. I'm going to clean this so you can see, and I'll now log in with the correct one and log in. And now if I expand, still here as before, right? That's great. But now in the application, I now have this one. This one didn't exist here before, the user ID token. So I have access to this now. So when I go back to products, go away, and I clean this out and I do create, I expand. Now I can see that the created by the user ID, which is the reference we want from backend of Mongo, is now here. A quick extra thing is I just realized that we have a loading one here. That's because I forgot to do the if statements up here to check to see if something is loading, error, or something and something. So we'll just add those quickly. So the first one is loading, and make sure you're in the div block for that. So if equal loading, oops, with an actual correct lettering. So if loading, then you show the that information, which is what it's always doing right now. So it is just defaulting to this. Else if we have an error, we can also pass this through to the user, and we'll pass it through interpolation over here, so we can tell the user, well, the product doesn't exist, some error is happening, and so on. Otherwise, it's a else, which is the remaining part of the code down here. So we have 3 errors here. Well, red lines. So we have loading and error. That's because we haven't probably imported them. Whoop, again, I went a little bit too far. We haven't probably imported them in here. So I'm going to go over here and import error and import loading and do a separation. Click save, go to your front end, refresh. You can see it now has loading, and once it's done, it'll present you with this one. Great.